Claire Chin, are you available to work overtime tonight? In the middle of a meeting, the man tapped his fingers on the table without even looking up. I was about to refuse, but then he closed the file, raised his head, and looked at me. You'll get paid extra for the overtime. Fine, Mr. Zhao. I gave in for the money. After the meeting, while walking back to the office area with a few colleagues, someone brought me up. Claire did a great job on that last project and even got a bonus. Why hasn't she treated us to coffee yet? Though I wasn't thrilled, I didn't dare show it. Sighing inwardly, I pulled out my phone and asked everyone what they wanted to drink. Just then, someone walked past, bringing with them a faint, woody scent. Only one person in the entire company smelled like that. I quickly caught up. Mr. Zhao, I'm treating everyone to coffee. What would you like? The man stopped, turned slightly, and looked at me with cool eyes. Thanks, but no need. We had worked together for months, yet he was still this distant. I didn't get it. What did I ever do to offend him? That evening, some coworkers had plans to go out, and they all looked at me with sympathetic eyes. I forced a smile. Inside, I was cursing up a storm. Our company had a 1-hour evening break. I stepped out to get some air and complained to Kyra Wan. This is the 4th time this month. I'm always the one working late. Ugh. When he first joined, I even said he was handsome turns. Out he's just a heartless boss. Mom was right. Handsome men are the most dangerous. Kyra chuckled gleefully. You used to say that just seeing his face every day was enough to die happy. Now look at you, cursing him non-stop. I pouted. I was young and naive, couldn't see through his true nature. She comforted me for a while. I started to feel better and asked, How's my girl? What did the vet say? Don't worry, she's calm now. Snowball's getting an IV drip. I'm watching her. Snowball was a little white cat I'd rescued. After years of wandering the streets, she had chronic intestinal issues. Kyra, not wanting me to worry, even sent me a few photos from the clinic. Seeing the kitten quietly receiving fluids made my heart soften. My anger eased a bit. For Snowball's sake, I'll put up with it a little longer. Kyra paused for a while, then said, There might be one way to stop him from targeting you. What way? Write him a love letter. He'll calm down. I hesitated. Are you sure that'll work? Kyra said, Just try it. Normal men would melt and let you off the hook. And if he's not normal? Then you'll weird him out enough that he'll avoid you. 2 months ago. Back then I had no idea a new boss from headquarters was transferring in. And that day, I made a huge fool of myself. The animal hospital called, saying Snowball's condition had worsened and I needed to sign a surgery consent form. I couldn't find my department head, so I sent a quick message on WeChat explaining the situation. The company normally didn't allow early departures. I snuck down to the parking lot like a thief. But when I got there, my car was blocked by a black Audi I didn't recognize. There was a phone number left on the dash. I called while glancing at the license plate. Looked fancy. Could it belong to a VIP client? I was just about to hang up when someone answered. Hello? A clear, pleasant voice. It sounded like a young man. I quickly explained the situation. He was very polite and said he'd come down to move the car right away. I thought to myself, wow, good people still exist. But soon after, I saw my usually haughty department head practically running after a man, speaking respectfully. Sir, something like this, we can totally handle it ourselves. There's no need for you to come down personally, President Zhao. The man, dressed in a black shirt, was rolling up his sleeves as he walked. It's fine. I'm the one who parked carelessly and caused trouble. At that moment, even though I didn't know who he was, I knew I was doomed. The department head shot me a warning glare as soon as he saw me. This is Mr. Lucas Zhao from Headquarters SOAR new CEO. I had already lost my attendance bonus that day and was in no mood for pleasantries, so I timidly greeted him. "Hello, Mr. Zhao. You're in a hurry? Need a ride?" After moving his car, the man rolled down the window and turned to ask. If it had been a different place, a different time, I probably would have been tempted to flirt with him. But right now, Snowball was my top priority. I started the car, and as I drove past, I raised my voice to thank him. "My daughter needs surgery. I have to rush to the hospital." There was no reply from behind. I was in such a rush I didn't notice his hand pause slightly on the steering wheel. I sensed someone approaching from behind. Turning around, I asked, "Mr. Zhao?" He was wearing an iron-gray dress shirt. Despite having worked all day, there were only a few creases on his sleeves. He was slightly nearsighted and often wore gold-rimmed glasses at night, which made him look gentler than during the day. Lucas Zhao placed a cup of coffee in front of me. "You've worked hard," he said softly. Well, at least he acknowledged it. I gave a forced smile. "Come to my office for a bit." Without another word, he turned and walked ahead. I followed, thinking he had more work for me. But instead, he pushed a steaming box of takoyaki toward me. "Have a late-night snack, then you can head home." I didn't dare pick up my chopsticks and reminded him, "I haven't finished my tasks yet. There will always be more work." "Then why do you keep making me work overtime, Mr. Zhao?" He suddenly looked up. "Are you upset?" That caught me off guard. I hadn't meant to say that out loud. But since it was out there, I didn't bother hiding it anymore. "Not upset exactly. It's just, every time you make me stay late, it's always for these little things. I end up going home in less than an hour. You're still holding a grudge about me leaving early that day, aren't you? The first time you made me water the office plants. The second, you had me rearrange the handful of rare books on your shelf. The third time, you told me to take your dog for a walk." Of course, I refused immediately. "Sorry, Mr. Zhao. My daughter is allergic to dog fur." I still remembered his look, that dazedly disappointed, though he quickly masked it and said flatly, "It's fine." "So these recent overtime requests?" "Yeah. He's just bored and messing with me." I entered Lucas Zhao's office holding a bouquet of flowers. He said nothing, eyes lowered as he focused on something, his elegant brows slightly furrowed. I cleared my throat. "Mr. Zhao, I need to be honest with you. About earlier." He slowly looked up, cutting me off. "Claire Chin, do you have a crush on me?" I blinked. "Well, I do like that face, so I guess that counts." He lifted the love letter I copied from the internet last night between two fingers. "I'd like an explanation." He looked serious. I didn't quite understand, but my gut told me he might be getting angry. Maybe I'd gone too far this time? But since things had already gone this far, I decided to double down. "Yes, Mr. Zhao, I've actually liked you for a long time." He raised an eyebrow. My brain spun like a top, digging through every scrap of info I'd ever heard about him. Then I blurted out, "Since high school." "We went to the same school. You wouldn't have known, but I always watched you from a corner. You probably can't understand the pain of unrequited love." Lucas Zhao lowered his gaze and quietly replied, "Of course I can." I heard him clearly and was stunned for a moment. So Mr. Zhao had his own heartbreak once? Maybe I touched a nervous eyes, looked faintly melancholic. Damn this mouth of mine. I awkwardly looked away and continued with the lines I'd rehearsed. "When I saw you transferred to our company, my feelings only grew stronger, especially after all the overtime we spent together. I took it as fate. You're such a great guy. If I didn't seize the chance, I'd regret it." "Baby, let's be together, okay? You're not allowed to look at other women. You can't go out to work anymore. I'm going to lock you in a room, and you're not even allowed to wear clothes." Damn it. Why does this sound more and more like a deranged, obsessive fan? I almost had to grit my teeth to get the words out. afraid I'd burst out laughing. I sounded completely unhinged. Any normal person would either call the cops or run for their life after hearing that. But he didn't interrupt once, and if I looked closely, his ears even seemed a little red. "You really like me that much?" I nodded like crazy. "Madly in love with you." "What if I reject you?" he asked, eyes hesitating. I deliberately put on a heartbroken face. "Then I'll stay single forever." His face turned red, too. Inside, I was screaming with joy. He blushed. "I'm a genius." I waited happily for the line. "You don't have to work overtime anymore." But instead, he smiled, his eyes growing even gentler. He stood up, walked over, and looked down at the bouquet in my hands. "This is for me?" I nearly lost control from how charming he looked. I bit my lip and nodded hard. Technically, this was an apology bouquet. Okay, I'll accept it. Accept the apology? But I hadn't even said sorry yet. I started to feel uneasy. Wait, could it be? Lucas Zhao held up the love letter and smiled slightly. "I accept your confession. I like honesty and decisiveness, so. Shall we go register our marriage right now? Will your daughter mind? Never mind, I'll handle it. Western style wedding or Eastern style? How many carats do you want for the diamond ring?" I stared at him, stunned. "Are you serious?" His smile faded slightly. "And weren't you serious?" Was I serious? I secretly went to find Special Assistant Lee. Rumor had it he followed Lucas Zhao from HQ to this branch. "Assistant Lee, what's Mr. Zhao's view on relationships?" He thought for a moment, then replied, "Mr. Zhao was once betrayed by a woman. He was depressed for years. I think what he fears most now is being lied to again. If it happens, I'm afraid he might completely lose control." I immediately stopped laughing. Suddenly, I realized I had messed with the wrong person. So the reason Lucas Zhao accepted my ridiculous confession was because of past emotional trauma. Maybe he didn't want to hurt me, and in a way he was trying to heal himself too. That's so tragic. So pitiful. I told Kyra Wan everything. She clapped her hands in amazement. Wow, he's totally the hopeless romantic type. If I could turn back time to yesterday, I swear I would never have done any of that. What if I say I've lost interest and break up? That was the only solution I could think of. After work today, I clearly saw that Lucas Zhao had changed my contact name in his phone to fiancé. He was moving way too fast. Kyra shook her head, clearly unconvinced. "You said you've liked him since high school, and now less than a day later you want to break up? You think he's dumb?" She pulled me closer and whispered, 90% of men lose interest if you cling too much. Just stick to him like glue, don't give him space. Unless he's the rare type, he'll be the one begging to break up." So I acted on it right away. At midnight sharp, I called Lucas Zhao. Assistant Lee once said he was very punctual, so he was definitely asleep by now. The phone rang for 5 seconds. He didn't speak at first, just soft breathing on the other end. I started to feel nervous. "Were you sleeping?" "Not yet. What's wrong?" His voice was calm, not the slightest bit annoyed. What a saint. "Nothing, really. I just missed you. It's been so long since I heard your voice." I had to squeeze my palm tight just to get the words out. He went quiet for a moment. Just as I was about to hang up, I heard a lazy, low chuckle through the phone. "Claire Chin, you like me that much?" I pounced on the opportunity. "Of course. If I could, I'd be with you 24 hours a day. Why didn't you say you missed me?" "Why didn't you pick up right away? Were you with another woman?" "If I hadn't called, would you have reached out to me at all?" "You're already tired of me after just one day? You don't really love me at all." My next line was supposed to be a casual breakup. But then I heard the sound of blankets rustling on his end. Then let's move in together. What the hell? He's not following the script again? Panicking, I hung up right away. The next morning at work, I found a warm breakfast waiting on my desk. A small sticky note was attached. Made by me. Hope you like it. Lucas Zhao's handwriting. The coworker next to me peeked over, curious. Panicking, I crumpled up the note and swallowed it. Claire, were you that hungry? You're gonna choke. I snapped back. You don't understand. I love my boyfriend so much that I don't want anyone else to see anything he gave me. I only feel at peace once it's in my stomach. Truth was, I just didn't want anyone to find out Lucas Zhao gave it to me. Less than a minute later, my phone rang. I answered like I was having a secret affair. Mr. Zhao? Come to my office, he said, ice cold. I refused out of pure stubbornness. Over the phone, he called out my full name. Claire Chin, you don't want to live anymore? Or are you 3 years old, eating paper like that? You wouldn't understand the interests of us yandere types, I retorted. He paused. What? I had done my research the night before. No one in real life can handle a full-on yandere, and I figured Lucas Zhao was no exception. I threatened him menacingly. I'll stalk you every day. If you dare avoid me, I'll kill you. Completely unhinged. But instead of being creeped out, he gave a charming smile. Sure, go ahead. Foul, he's using the hot guy immunity card. I kept acting, trying to scare him off with extreme behavior. I heard he had an important meeting, so I called him on purpose in the outside. I looked calm, but inside I was grinning like a maniac. Hang up, and I'll break up with you on the spot. But before I could celebrate, he answered. Be good, I'm in a meeting. Then he transferred 50,000 yen to me. Note, just a gift. After ending the call, I covered my face, laughing like a lunatic. Damn it. I really hate to admit it. I might actually be falling for him. After work, while waiting for the elevator, I sent Kyra Wan an update. This plan isn't working. Then someone blocked my path. Claire Chin, stop lying to me. I saw it all. You rejected David Shen and said you didn't like him. That means you're still single. It was that guy with the thick glasses who had been pestering me for ages. I'd never liked him, so I told him I was divorcing and fighting for custody of my daughter. I even claimed my husband was abusive. Only then did he finally back off. Later I realized it was a convenient excuse to avoid unwanted attention, so I kept that fake identity. But David Shen's bouquet the other day tipped him off. Trouble. Still, whatever. I pulled out my biggest shield, Lucas Zhao. My husband is your boss. You sure you want to fight him over a woman? His face turned red with rage. You shameless liar, as if someone like Mr. Zhao would ever look at you. That's an even worse excuse than the last one. You think I'm that stupid? Around us, co-workers stared, some shocked, some skeptical. No one believed me. Rude. I was telling the truth for once. Then the elevator dinged, and everyone stepped back. The air turned oddly silent. Inside the elevator stood Lucas Zhao, perfectly dressed, leaning slightly against the wall. Claire Chin, he said gently. Come in. I need a word. Right at the end of the day, being summoned by the CEO like this. It couldn't mean anything good. Everyone looked at me with pity. One kind colleague even whispered, Don't worry, I won't tell him you made all that stuff up just now. Such a good person. I gritted my teeth and stepped in, facing his amused gaze with my scalp tingling. I stood near the elevator doors, back stiff, not daring to look behind me. But I could feel his stare burning a hole through me. Nervous? I muttered. Who said I'm nervous? I'm just scared I might not be able to resist jumping you, and I want to preserve your dignity. Eyes locked forward. Damn this elevator, so slow. He chuckled softly. I started to panic, trying to suppress my trembling hands. Then he stepped closer, almost pressing against me. You still haven't answered my question from last night. Let's move in together, yes or no? I looked up instinctively, saw the determination in his eyes. No, I said. The corners of his lips curved even higher. But didn't you say you wanted to see me 24/7? I dug my own grave. Mr. Zhao, can I ask what happened to the woman who betrayed you? He hadn't expected that turn in the conversation. Lucas looked at me for a long time, then asked seriously, You really want to know? I nodded firmly. In truth, I just wanted to gauge the risk if I ever confessed the truth later. It was bad, worse than death. He gave a bitter smile and looked away. She's still tearing her hair out trying to clean up the mess she made, but her ending is already sealed. She'll lose. My face immediately turned pale. After hearing the full mess, Kyra suggested gently, Maybe you should just come clean. No way. Sheesh. Judging by his tone, he still hasn't gotten over his first love. How are you going to compete with that kind of emotional history? I firmly shook my head. Kyra chewed on her nail, then suddenly looked up, her eyes shining. I've got it. Failure is not an option this time. Kyra's logic. If you want someone to hate being with you, borrow money from him. So I started texting Lucas Zhao every single day, asking to borrow money, never mentioning when I'd pay it back. A whole week passed, but things didn't go the way Kyra had predicted. She frowned in disbelief. No way. If it were me, even if I were head over heels, I'd block someone after a week of that crap. I sighed. Exactly. I ask him for you 1,000 every day, and he doesn't even flinch, just transfers it immediately. He even asks if that's enough. Touching, really? Kyra exploded. You idiot! He's filthy rich, and you're only asking for 1,000? That's like buying a bottle of water to him. You need to go big. How big? She held up 5 fingers. 5,000? I guessed. No, 50,000. To break off this ridiculous relationship, I hesitated for hours before finally typing. I need 50,000 yen, up to you if you want to help. He sent the money immediately. Sure. Sure? No questions? He dared to send it, but I didn't dare to spend it. By day 3, I hadn't even messaged, and the money still came. I couldn't take it anymore. I got up, phone in hand, and marched straight to Lucas Zhao's desk. He was in the middle of a virtual international meeting. He gave me a look, asking what I needed. I signaled for him to wait. He nodded. He was speaking French, his voice deep, smooth, and incredibly attractive. I thought, if Lucas Zhao ever loses his job, I'm nominating him for voice acting. Then the person on the other end must have said something surprising, because Lucas suddenly looked over at me, raised a brow, and said something in French with a smirk. I didn't dare move. I just rolled my eyes, wondering if I forgot to reapply lipstick after lunch. Late that night, as I was half asleep, Lucas leaned close and whispered the translation of what he'd said earlier. I already have someone I like. In fact, she's right in front of me. Just as I thought this ridiculous mess couldn't get any worse, it did. Mrs. Liu requested a private meeting. Over the phone, she repeatedly emphasized, "Don't let Lucas know." On my way there, my head was spinning with every drama scene imaginable. The rich madam pulls out a black card and coldly demands I leave her son. To be honest, I was kind of excited. Wouldn't that give me the perfect excuse to break up with Lucas Zhao? So I prepared myself to play the role of a tragic woman hopelessly in love. But when I arrived, a woman not much older than me rushed out, nearly tripping. "As long as you stay with my son, I'll give you however much money you want." Lucas's mother was young. Not just young, she completely threw me off with that statement. I tried to ruin her impression of me. Auntie, I cling to your son like glue. I have no morals and use every dirty trick in the book. She waved it off cheerfully. If someone's still chasing after my son, I say that's our family's blessing. I doubled down. I curse him behind his back, secretly take photos, stalk him. I'm basically a lunatic. You get that right? Mrs. Liu blinked, stunned, and slowly nodded. I don't really get it, but sure. You young people are intense these days. Ugh, not working. I had no choice but to speak honestly. 5 minutes passed. The tea on the table had gone cold. Mrs. Liu sat motionless, hands clasped together. I hesitated. Mrs. Liu? She sighed. Lucas was hurt badly before. Every time I tried to set him up on a blind date, he either dodged it or flat out said he'd rather find a boyfriend to make me give up. So when I found out he had a girlfriend, I was truly happy. I can tell you might not love him that deeply yet. But please, just stay with him a little longer. I hesitated. But what if he finds out? She lifted her chin slightly, a touch of regret in her eyes. He already has. I turned around and there stood Lucas Zhao, his expression unreadable. And at that moment all I could think was, I need to start drafting my resignation letter. It's not a bother. He looked at me. I did it willingly. Suddenly the sound of a glass shattering rang out nearby. The server rushed over and apologized. I'm so sorry, sir. Did you get burned? I turned toward the sound, and locked eyes with Lucas Zhao standing in the middle of the restaurant. His face was dark. The server offered to compensate him for the suit. No need. I was the one in the way. This isn't your fault. He brushed off the spill casually, turned and walked away without looking back. I quickly apologized to David Shen and got up to chase after him. Lucas walked fast, ignoring my calls. Lucas Zhao. It was the first time I called him by name. He stopped, turning around slowly. I ran up, panting. He stood calmly, holding his suit jacket in one hand, his gaze full of sarcasm. You ditched him to chase after me? Not afraid he'll be mad? He seemed like a completely different person after just one day apart. I stepped closer, taking a deep breath. I remembered. His expression softened a bit. So? Okay, still mad. I had no idea how to calm him down, so I just said what came to mind. I don't know if I should apologize. I didn't remember you then, but I still need to thank you for saving my life back then. Claire Chin, I'm not interested in hearing this. Go back and finish your dinner with him. I'm leaving. He turned cold again and started walking off. Panicked, I grabbed his hand tightly. Back then, was it really me who broke your heart? Was it me who hurt you emotionally? He shook off my hand, didn't look back. Let go. You liked me back then, 8 years ago, didn't you? He froze. His voice came out cold. Is that funny to you? What? Suddenly, he grabbed my wrist and pulled me close, wrapping an arm around my waist. Is this entertaining for you, Claire? Lucas enunciated each word, his eyes burning with frustration. You really need to hear me say it? Yes. I liked you. I've liked you since 8 years ago. I transferred to this company because of you. The day we met again, I tried to act normal, but the second I saw you, I lost control. I wanted to talk to you, to tell you I never stopped thinking about you. Are you satisfied now? We were standing under a tree. The light was dim, only a faint street lamp cast shadows. A beam of light hit his eyes. In that moment I saw helplessness, bitterness, and overwhelming longing. His gaze scared me. That was the look of someone who loved too deeply. Lucas lowered his eyes. His voice was hollow. You left without a word, said goodbye to everyone but me. For 8 years, I kept hypnotizing myself. Forget her. Don't look for her. But I couldn't. People said I was unwell, but I didn't believe them. I just missed you too much. He leaned his forehead against mine. A cool tear dropped onto my cheek. He whispered, "Claire, when you said you liked me, I had to spend a full minute convincing myself that even if I had to be the other man, I would." Those words snapped me out of my daze. I took a small step back and looked up at him. "The other man?" Lucas nodded sincerely. "Aren't you in the middle of a divorce? Fighting for custody? Then you confessed to me. I could only tell myself, fine, I'll be the other man. At least it means I matter to you." I couldn't help it, I burst out laughing. Lucas Zhao was kind of adorably stupid. He looked confused and awkwardly let go of me. I immediately pulled him into a tight hug. "Where are you going?" "I'm not going to eat you." His energy deflated, and his voice turned meek. "You're laughing at me." I picked up little Snowy, curled up in her cat bag, and walked out. I lifted her sleepy head. "Don't sleep, sweetie. Say hi to your new dad." Lucas stood there stunned. He stammered, This cat is the daughter you were talking about?" "Yep." "Then, where's your husband?" While soothing the cat, I glanced around. Too many people were trying to set me up. I got tired of rejecting them, so I just told everyone I was married, just hadn't registered the marriage yet. After that, they all backed off. Lucas muttered to himself, "No wonder. When I had someone look into you, there was no record of any marriage, but you kept saying you had a husband." I suddenly felt mischievous and teased him. "So what? You're the other man anyway." "You're dreaming, huh? In this lifetime, you're only allowed to have me." Little Snowy gave a symbolic meow. "Has Joey come around asking to borrow money from you lately?" A colleague at the opposite desk chatted with me. It took me a while to recall who that was. "Come on, he chased after you for ages. Just a few days ago, he was still clinging to you outside the elevator, and now you can't even remember his name?" Turns out it was that guy who went crazy clinging to me the other day." I frowned. "No, he hasn't. Why?" My colleague sighed. "He got fired last week. Total freeloader. Now that he's unemployed, all he does is sleep at home. Ran out of money and started asking us for loans." "Fired?" I really didn't know. Rumor had it he got the job through connections with a mid-level manager. Skated by for years, no one dared touch him. So the only one who could make that happen had to be him. After work, right on time, the familiar call came again. I'm in the parking lot. I was the last to leave the office. The elevator descended straight to the basement. A sleek black Cayenne pulled up. Lucas Zhao rolled down the window. "Before you get in, can I threaten you a little?" He's been unbelievably childish lately. He insisted we set matching profile pictures and made me come up with excuses to tell coworkers it was just a coincidence. Even secretly bought a pair of matching rings. If I forgot to wear mine, he'd punish me in bed. One time, I was reading a novel and offhandedly praised the male lead as every woman's dream, rich, handsome, everything. He overheard, and the next thing I knew, he was handing me a black card, buying luxury brands, and even tossing property deeds at my mansions, of course. He wore designer suits every day and never drove the same car twice. I played along. "Let's see your performance first. When are you going to give me official status?" We'd been dating for a month, but I hadn't told anyone. I didn't want to make it a big deal. Lucas started throwing tantrums. "That depends on you." I thought that would motivate him. But that night, he climbed into bed and pinned me down. "You'll see what kind of performance I'm capable of." Me? He really interpreted it that way? By morning, I couldn't sleep at all from the torment. "Give me your hand." A slender hand reached out to me. I sleepily handed it over. He pulled out a milky white jade bracelet and slipped it onto my wrist. "This is a family heirloom. Take good care of it." It looked ridiculously expensive. "I can't accept this." I tried to take it off. He immediately grabbed my hand, fingers interlocked tightly. His tone left no room for refusal. "Claire Chine, you don't get a choice." I'd actually guessed he was planning a proposal. Honestly, Lucas Xiao wasn't exactly subtle. That day he kept messing up. Even called me wifey in a meeting by accident. And I got the privilege of experiencing everyone in the conference room staring at me. But even knowing it was coming, standing in the scene he meticulously prepared still moved me deeply. He was so nervous, he dropped to both knees, making everyone watching outside stifle their laughter. I held back a grin, afraid I'd sap his courage. "Claire Chin, will you marry me?" He looked at me with utter sincerity, hands shaking as he held the ring. "I do." The moment I said it, his face flushed bright red. We spent 3 months preparing for the wedding. It was extravagant. I was truly surprised when David Shen showed up. Lucas leaned in behind me. "I invited him. Call it male intuition if he doesn't see you getting married with his own eyes. He'll never give up." So childish. At the end of the reception was the bouquet tossed traditionally. Whoever catches it will be the next to marry. But I decided to have a little fun and swapped the bouquet for a head of Napa cabbage, a symbol of wealth and fortune. That day, a crowd of lifelong singles went wild battling over the cabbage on stage. Kyra Wan emerged victorious.